Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Everything you are about to hear is presented for educational and entertainment purposes only. A quarter century after NWA told America to wake up Ice Cube just walked into federal hearing with a manila folder that could, if even half of it sticks, reorder hip-hop's power grid overnight. Ask yourself, what does a man gain by naming every hidden gatekeeper in an open courtroom? And what does he risk losing if he stays silent? Stick around, because the answer might rewrite how you define fame, loyalty, and freedom. Most trials crawl until closing arguments. This one sprinted from the first syllable. Cube's arrival detonated every live blog refresh. Like a firecracker string, and cable pundits tripped over each other trying to frame a narrative before the lunch recess. Meanwhile, insiders swapped frantic messages. Was Cube bluffing? Were the files legit? When even off-record sources refuse comment, you know the NDA net is pulled tight. If the hip-hop timeline felt shaky after Cassie's account, and Will Smith's tears shrieked cross-examination, Cube's entrance turned that tremor into a recursive shudder. Suddenly, it wasn't just a case about one mogul's alleged misdeeds. It was a moral referendum on an entire era of celebrity culture. The room could practically hear the collective clench of PR teams drafting contingency statements before the next morning's headlines. May 20th, 9:14 a.m. Southern District of New York? The bailiff barely muttered, "All rise," before every neck craned toward the back doors. No entourage, no Gucci frames, just Ashia Jackson, Sr. clutching a folder thick enough to thunk when he placed it on the witness stand. Prosecutors exchanged real glances. Diddy's lead counsel swallowed hard. Cube adjusted the mic once and said, "I wasn't subpoenaed, I volunteered." In a trial already stacked with pop culture heavyweights, that single line hit harder than a diss track at max volume. But Cube hadn't come to argue about royalty's head, come to talk about control. Hearing stenographers have seen rappers freestyle under oath, but they'd never watched a legend treat sworn account like a concept album intro, tight, unsparing, cinematic. Even the official, a man rumored to speed-read spy thrillers for fun, leaned back as if bracing for turbulence. Cameras weren't allowed in the room, but Cube's composure streamed live in the tweets of every credentialed reporter present. Behind Diddy, you could almost feel the legal team's temperature plummet. Their strategy, paint prior witnesses as disgruntled opportunists, suddenly looked brittle. Cube's net worth, accolades, and still thriving film career made bitter ex-employers spin impossible. One paralegal later told Variety, "The defense table felt like watching someone realize the fire escape is padlocked." According to Cube, there's a velvet rope circle running. Hollywood's after hours, the kind of club that never trends, because its members own the algorithms. You don't audition, you're invited. First come the lavish favors, then the discreet demands. Refuse, he claimed, and the perks curdle into pressure, canceled meetings, anonymous tips to tabloids, lost endorsement, wire transfers. Cube looked straight at the 12 jurors. They don't want your talent. They want the strings that move it. Important note, no hearing record outside. This account has proven such a network exists, and representatives for the named parties have denied operating any coercive ring. But if Cube sounded concerned, the room was still leaning in for what he said next, and it dragged Jamie Foxx into the crosshairs. Cube compared the club to a pop culture stock exchange where influence is traded like blue chip shares. Talent scouts double as data harvesters, choreographers moonlight as shadow recruiters. They follow the metrics, he explained. If your engagement dips, so does the love. It was less Illuminati and more Silicon Valley and Versace algorithms fused with champagne to decide who shines and who fades. He also alleged the circle's true commodity isn't music masters or box office points, it's narratives. Whose comeback story hits the talk show circuit, situation stays gated behind a paywall. That editorial chessboard is in Cube's telling the ultimate flex. And when one king piece read, "Artist refuses a square," the board flips until everyone remembers exactly who's moving the pawns. Cube alleged that Fox confided in him after a 2021 invite-only basketball soiree. Phones and velvet pouches, black SUVs idling outside champagne that tasted like hush money. Fox supposedly whispered, "They film everything." 2 years later, Fox's mysterious medical health warning dominated headlines. Cube now framed it as a message, not mere misfortune. Again, absolutely no medical evidence ties Foxx's condition to foul play. But the implication froze the gallery. Because Cube said footage is control, and control decides careers. He claimed Foxx had noticed odd gaps in his own memory after certain marquee events, slots of missing time that never resurfaced, except as blurry flashes, triggered by tabloid leaks that only insiders could plant. Imagine checking your socials, Cube said, and seeing rumors you can't debunk because you don't even remember the night. The jurors visibly stiffened. Identity theft is one thing, memory theft another. Cube produced, though the official sealed it from public view, a time-stamped voicemail in which Foxx allegedly predicted a health warning headline weeks before it happened. Defense counsel labeled it out-of-context banter. Prosecutors argued it showed anticipatory dread. The panel scribbled wide-eyed, like students cramming before an exam none of them signed up to take. Enter the vault room, a nickname Cube swears insiders use for Diddy's private record encrypted. SSDs, handwritten ledgers, and grainy Polaroids cataloged by date, guest lists, and potential value. Prosecutors haven't produced the drives in open hearing. Defense calls it fiction fit for Reddit. Yet Cube insists the archive's pressure is why so many Alistairs suddenly pivot from outspoken to obedient. If true, it's the dark web sequel to every red carpet selfie you've ever double-tapped. Legend, yes, legend says the room itself is soundproof, climate-controlled, and accessible only after a biometric scan. A former bodyguard speaking under pseudonym to Rolling Stone claimed he once glimpsed wall-to-wall drive bays blinking like a digital beehive, while synth music hummed overhead. Looked less like a trophy case, more like a nuclear vault. He said, though no corroborating photos exist. Cube's account added a chilling flourish to an index allegedly labeling files by insurance value. Low-stakes party gaffes, file under bronze, compromising footage of megastars platinum. The bigger your smile on camera, Cube warned, the higher your premium in that vault. Even skeptics in the gallery swallowed hard. The idea alone felt dystopian enough to trend by sundown. Cube's folder included what he claimed were phone logs linking Foxx's camp to Oprah Winfrey in early 2005, weeks before an alleged sit-down with producer Quincy Jones. Cube painted the meeting as less mentorship, more handoff legacy, re-education, he called it. Representatives for Winfrey and Jones have dismissed such claims as baseless. Still, the notion that mentorship can morph into management unsettled the courtroom. And Cube wasn't done. You don't get 30 Grammys without collecting a few artists, he muttered, stopping just short of outright accusation while letting the implication linger like gunpowder in the air. He described Quincy as the Sony Walkman of influence, compact, portable, and everywhere at once. According to Cube, Jonas' power comes not only from credits, but from connective tissue. Jazz elders, 90s CEOs, TikTok kingmakers, one speedial away. If he blesses your project, doors glide open, Cube said. If he frowns, they brick up overnight. The courtroom full of entertainment lawyers knew that part wasn't hyperbole. Cube added that Oprah's alleged role wasn't villainous, but maternal guiding. Foxx towards someone she trusted to tether him safely to the system. Whether that house was Diddy's or someone else's remains unverified, yet the anecdote landed like cold steel. They're not parties, they're vetting rooms. He confessed his main regret wasn't walking out, but walking in at all. Curiosity is collateral, he told the panel. The moment you show up, they note your weakness, you want it in. That line ricocheted around hip-hop Twitter within minutes. Aspiring artists clipped it, overlaying grainy mansions stock footage, daring followers to decode the address. Years later, Cube said he caught a blockbuster actor backstage at an awards show. The man's grin strained. You remember that house? The actor whispered. Cube nodded once. The subject never surfaced again. That's the currency, mutual silence, Cube testified. You carry the memory like a scar under tailored suits. Cube laid out what he called a pattern of precision erasure. Projects inexplicably pulled NDAs, weaponized rumors, timed to derail album drops. He highlighted a spreadsheet tracking Jamie Foxx's canceled contracts. Between 2019 and 2021, most linked Cube claims to executives with side ties to Bad Boy, Revolt, or Bad Boy subsidiaries. Defense objected the official allowed the chart for context, not proof. Puff stared ahead, lips thin. Cube's voice dropped. The same men who bankroll the playlist own the cell blocks. The room inhaled. Hearing recessed. Hit subscribe if you want the verdict the moment it drops, because whatever that gavel says, the culture war behind it is only getting louder. And one more question to leave ringing in your ears. If the entertainment you binge is curated by people who own both the stage and the leash, where does real rebellion live online, offline, or only in stories brave enough to risk the legal case? Comment your take, share the video, and keep questioning the credits that roll after every so-called happy ending.